What's up, everybody? My name is Amy, and this is the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. Put your way that you're sitting on top of the world. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. My name is Amy. Welcome to my show. Hope everyone is having a wonderful weekend. Wow, what a way to start off the weekend, and what a way to celebrate my 1-year anniversary here on YouTube. Yesterday was officially 1 year for the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast here on the mean streets of YouTube. I came from Spotify. I came here to YouTube to, extend my audience and everything. But it's been a very difficult road. And it's been a very slow process, trying to grow this channel. I get buried underneath all the bullshit. I feel like, there's just so many drama channels and hate channels and clip channels that have infiltrated the true crime genre and the true crime community. And, I just feel like I get buried underneath them all. So I've had a hard time gaining support and retaining support, and it's been a tough road, but one thing you won't get here is drama, and you're not necessarily going to get too much hate unless someone just really makes me mad, and there have been a couple of people that have done that. So but I think, one of the biggest problems is that I get buried in the algorithm, and, people don't see my channel, and they're not aware of my channel. So, it's just been really hard to grow my channel. But anyway, wow. It has been one hell of a day, and what a way to wind up 2022. An arrest has been made in the Idaho 4 slayings. In the early morning hours of November the 13th, 2022, Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle were murdered in their off-campus house at the University of Idaho. They were brutally stabbed to death in their beds. And for the last 7 weeks, the hunt for the killer has been on. A couple of weeks after police notified the public that they were looking for a 2011 to 2013 white Hyundai Elantra that was seen near the home of the Idaho 4 in the time frame in which the murders were thought to have occurred, which was between 3 and 4 a.m. Well, police have found that infamous white Hyundai Elantra, and they have arrested a suspect. His name is Brian Christopher. Sorry about that. His name is Brian Christopher Kohlberger. He's 28 years old. He is originally from Pennsylvania, and he now attends, well, he's not attending anything right now except jail. But he was currently a graduate student at Washington State University. He has a doctoral degree. He was a doctoral student at Washington State University and a PhD in criminal justice and criminology, studying criminal justice and criminology. He graduated from DeSales University in 2020 with a degree in psychology, a master's in criminal justice in the spring, and received a bachelor's degree in 2020 and completed his graduate studies in June of 2022. He has been charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder for the murder of Ethan Chapin, 1 count of first-degree murder for the murder of Kaylee Goncalves, 1 count of first-degree murder for the murder of Madison Mogen, and 1 count of first-degree murder for the murder of Xana Kernodle. He has also been charged with 1 count of felony burglary because he, entered the home without permission and, killed 4 people in the process of this burglary. So that makes it felony burglary. He does own the white Elantra. The Elantra was towed when he was arrested. He well, I'm just blown away. He also is said to have been a security guard in 2018 at the Pleasant Valley School District. And it said that he actually saved the life of a hall monitor who was having an asthma attack. The probable cause affidavit is currently sealed at the moment. The Idaho police are waiting for him to be extradited from Pennsylvania to Idaho. And, he can choose to waive his extradition, which we hope that he, doesn't try to fight extradition, because it'll just make it, more difficult to get him to Idaho to face these charges. But he has already appeared in court in Pennsylvania where he was arrested, and he was given no bond. And he will also receive no bond as soon as he does get to Idaho. But the probable cause affidavit is currently sealed at the moment until he does arrive in Idaho. And then the police and prosecutor's office will release that information to the public. I believe his home was searched today. If I'm not mistaken, he does have an apartment in Washington State. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that police were there searching that apartment. However, he was actually arrested in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. So he was clear on the other side of the United States of America. That's something we all wondered, was whether or not the killer or killers was still in the city of Moscow or the state of Idaho, or if he was in a, nearby state. Turns out he only lived, 10 miles from the home in which Kaylee and Maddie and Xana lived, and the, Sigma Chi fraternity where Ethan lived. So, the police are asking for anyone who does know Brian Christopher Kohberger that they please come forward and report, anything that they know, anything that they may know about him, his current life, his past life, just anything, any kind of information that they have on him, because they want to understand, who he is, what kind of a person he is, his personality, and why on earth he might have done this. He, being a criminology and criminal justice major, about 7 months ago, he posted on Reddit, and he was recruiting research participants, and he wanted to ask about their crimes and, how they felt about it, and, what they did, and just mostly about the psychology part of the crimes that they had committed. And Have I got my rowboat out and ready? No, all I've got is a flat air mattress right now. So, um, I don't know. I think I may need to get out there and air it up tomorrow, I guess. I don't know. How you doing tonight, Pam? What's that ornery husband of yours doing? Are y'all behaving? Is he behaving? I know you're behaving, but is Griff behaving? That's the question. But you know, I mean, wow. I have 3 years of criminal justice. I did not get to finish getting my degree in criminal justice. Um, Health problems got in the way, and I was not able to finish. But my gosh, this guy, his education is just unreal. I mean, masters and graduates degrees and PhDs and doctorals, and I mean, why on earth? Oh, he's been watching football. Oh, okay. But this guy's education is just, I mean, unreal. And to think all of this education in psychology, in criminology, in criminal justice, just to commit a murder? I mean, why on earth did he do this? The only real connection that is concrete so far is that he followed Kaylee and Maddie on Instagram. Now there's some rumors out there that he allegedly knew one of the girls who was a friend of Maddie and Kaylee and Xana, I assume. The little girl who answered the door in the body cam footage from September. If you've seen the body cam footage that was released from a disturbance call at the 112 King Road residence, a little old bitty blonde-haired girl answers the door. And then later her boyfriend comes to the door. And it is alleged that Brian knows her, or maybe kin to her, or her boyfriend, or something. Now that's just rumor, so that's not something that hasn't been verified or whatever. But why on earth did he do this? And did he plan it? Why these people? Why, had they done something that upset him or made him mad, or has he confessed? Not to my knowledge, he hasn't. When everything broke this morning, at first the wrong name got put out. Apparently there were a couple of guys who were arrested for grand theft auto, and somehow their names got put out. And don't know why that was, or how, how that happened, but there was so much breaking all at once that, and everybody was just trying to, get it all. And, when you've got multiple media outlets that are, pushing stuff out and without all the facts, just yet, everything got kind of jumbled up and whatnot. So, we don't know yet if Brian Christopher Kohberger acted alone in the crime or if he had accomplices. It's rumored that, wait a minute. I just totally forgot what I was going to say. But, it just makes absolutely no sense as of yet as to why he did this. Oh, okay. I know what I was going to say. It is rumored that when he was arrested, he asked, has anyone else been arrested yet? Now, that is a rumor. That is not fact. And so we don't know if he had any accomplices. But I just can't fathom. And it's weird because it reminds me of and it reminds me of an episode of CSI when Lawrence Fishburne, if you watched the original CSI that was based in Las Vegas, when Lawrence Fishburne came on the show, when Billy, who played Grissom, left the show, Lawrence Fishburne's character was a professor, and he was, interviewing this serial killer. And one of the students in his classroom turned out to be a copycat killer. But when they were interviewing this serial killer on the show, the students were allowed to ask questions. And the copycat killer was asking the serial killer different questions. And all that just reminds me of this, guy, real guy, Brian Kohberger, and him doing this survey or research deal that he put out on Reddit, looking for people to participate and asking him about the psychology and how they felt, about the crimes they committed and what crimes they had committed and whatnot. It's so bizarre. Do you remember that? You remember that episode? It's I can't remember what season it is, Pam, but it's he was known as the Dick and Jane killer. on the show. The serial killer was called the Dick and Jane Killer. And that's how they wrote Grissom out and then wrote Lawrence Fishburne's character in. He joined CSI as a level 1 CSI when Grissom left. So yes, the interview was while he was teaching a class. Yeah. And what's crazy is the same guy that played that serial killer in that is Olivia Benson's therapist on Law and Order SVU. It's so crazy. It just weirds me out whenever she goes to see her therapist on the show, and it's him. Because, like, how do you go from playing a serial killer to a therapist? It's crazy. But wow. I'm wasn't that the last or the next to the last? Yes, it was. It was. It was the copycat killer had committed a Dick and Jane type murder, and when they got his help in the case, and then Grissom talks him into joining CSI, and then that's when Grissom leaves. So but I am just blown away. We all had different theories, early on in the case. And, my first theory was that it was somebody that was fixated on Madison or Kaylee or both. And then, oh no, that was the miniature killer. No, the miniature killer was a girl. The miniature killer was a girl. The Dick and Jane killer was a guy on the show. But early on, I just felt like that it was somebody that maybe was, fixated on Maddie or Kaylee or both. And then, all this stuff started coming out about Sigma Chi and Ethan allegedly getting into a fight at the Sigma Chi party. There was that stuff that was posted on that anonymous 4chan site. And the way that person told the story and named a couple of the Sigma Chi brothers, I thought, wow, it all fits. It all fits. But now we're back to, I guess, someone, this guy had some kind of fascination with Maddie and Kaylee or so. We just don't know yet. We just don't know what his motive was or why he did this. Yeah, me too. My perception changed over time. I was like, I thought maybe, it was some guy that had maybe created some kind of a relationship with one of them in his head, or somebody that had asked one of them out, and they turned him down, or someone at the club that they just just set him off, or something. And I still have to wonder, was he at the club? Was now that we have this suspect, and it don't appear that he had any kind of issue with Ethan or Xana that we know of yet. Then was he at the club that night? Did he follow them to the grub truck? You see through all the surveillance and the police body cam footage. No, he went to Washington State. He went to nearby Washington State University. He was a doctoral student. PhD, getting a PhD. Yeah, he could have been a stalker. Yeah, that's true. Like I said, we just don't know yet. And, we don't know if he had been planning it, if this was something that he just did on the spur of the moment, or what. But it's, I said in my last live, in part 5 of this whole coverage of the Idaho 4 case that I've done, that when you put all the surveillance and then the police body cam footage of the things that were caught in the background, you see that white Elantra come in and then go up and go, and I think what he did was he came in, went, because there's only one way in and one way out of that residence area. He came in, turned onto Queen or King Road, went in front of the house, went up behind there, and parked in that abandoned parking lot where there was no light, where it was dark as hell back there, and went in, committed the murders, came right back out, got in his car, and you see the car in the body cam footage coming down that little hill and then making that curve, in front of the 112 King Road house, and him just, casually, driving by, and then leaving out. And then 3:45, the car is seen on that gas station surveillance footage, and I mean, he just drove in there, pulled up back there in that back parking lot, got out, walked in that house, killed 4 people, walked back out, drove off, and like it was normal. That's scary. But I mean, he had to have been watching them. There's no doubt in my mind he had to have been watching them, and he had to, had been back there and watched when Maddie's light went out. In the police body cam footage, in one part of the police body cam footage, you can see the house in the background, and you can see Maddie's light still on, and you can see when the light goes out. and everything. It's just, I mean, it's just like he just whipped in there, went in that house, committed these murders, and left just like he just, pulled into the gas station, went in, got a pack of cigarettes, got back in his car and left. That simple and that, unemotional, unempathetic, no qualms, just like it was some kind of normal. Whether it's just no telling what's going on there. Yeah. That's true. That's true, Pam. I mean, God forbid I can't, the who, what, where, and when, and how is one thing, but for me, it's always the why. I want to know why you did this. Why? It, I can't, of course, there's no excuse in the world that he could come up with, as to why he did this. There's no excuse whatsoever, but there's got to be some kind of reasoning that he did this, or is he just like a Ted Bundy? Is he just a killer? Just, I mean, was only he knows the answer to those questions. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he, I just have to, I have to wonder. It has been confirmed. There was a picture from a video that was released from the Corner Club, and in the photo, Maddie and Kaylee are talking to Jack DeCour. Jack DeCour is Kaylee's on and off boyfriend for the last 5-6 years. And, Jack D has been under suspicion from day one. And then, and this picture just recently came out that they were standing, talking to him, that he was actually at the same club they were, and everything that night. So I have to wonder, was this Brian guy possibly fixated on Kaylee, maybe, and knew she was broke up with Jack, and then she sees him, or then he sees her talking to him at the club or whatever, and thinks, that they're getting back together, so he has no chance with her. People, like I said, people create these relationships in their minds. I covered the Travis Reinking trial, and Travis Reinking had this whole relationship for a few years, in his mind, that he had with Taylor Swift. and he and Taylor Swift were going to get married. And I mean, it was crazy. And I mean, he would even argue with Taylor in videos, like she even knew who the hell he was. I mean, people, I can't imagine though that this guy would have had any kind of severe mental disorder though, like Travis Ryan King had. He suffered from paranoid schizophrenia and delusions and no telling what else. But I can't imagine that this Brian Koberger could have suffered from any kind of severe mental disorders and been able to get through all of that education all the way up to a doctoral degree. I just cannot imagine that. There have been a couple of people that have come out that know Brian and have spoke, and they said that he was just could be multiple personalities. Yeah, that's true. And like Jekyll and Hyde, literally like Jekyll and Hyde. That's the first thing that comes to my mind now that you say that, Pam, is Jekyll and Hyde. The people that have spoke out so far that know Brian have said that he seemed he was a bit awkward, but and kind of had to try a little harder to fit in, or maybe didn't always fit in or whatever. But other than that, he was talkative and friendly, just your average normal guy. And you look at him, and I mean, yeah, you kind of maybe see maybe a little darkness in his eyes, but nothing really to write home about, as I say. Unlike some cases I've covered, and perpetrators who you can look in their eyes and see nothing but pure evil. Yeah, and just a nerd, basically a school nerd. I mean, god dang, with all that education, jeez. But he's not a big guy. He's just just your average. I don't know exactly how tall he is or how much he weighs, but he don't look no bigger than in his photo. And of course this photo don't show his whole body or anything, but he don't look no bigger than your average 5'7", 150-pound guy. He wasn't an overly big guy or anything. So you have to wonder, him. You think about him overpowering Ethan, and wonder about him overpowering Ethan, but I'm sure Ethan was, he and Xana were asleep, and I'm sure he probably in his boxer shorts or whatever he the boy wore to bed, and you're confronting a knife wielding maniac in your girlfriend's house, at 3:30 in the morning. And but early on it was said that Ethan was actually found in either the hallway or the living area of the second floor. And we knew pretty early on, because Xana's dad let it slip, that she had defensive wounds. So I speculated that the guy went upstairs and killed Maddie and Kaylee first, and then as he came back down the stairs, he encountered Ethan, because Ethan and Xana had woke up here and because they heard the noise, and as he came back down the stairs, he encountered Ethan, and of course killed Ethan, and then had to go and kill Xana. Did this guy even know about Bethany and Dylan on the bottom floor? Don't know yet. But I would think that at some point he had to have been in that house. I would think, because that house is confusing, the way it's built and everything. And so I would think that he had to at least possibly been in the house at some point prior to the murders, but who knows? I don't know. If it turns out that he did know this little, I believe her name's Hannah, girl, and her boyfriend that lived next door to Kaylee and Maddie and Xana, maybe he had been to one of their parties or something, possibly. Who knows? I mean, we won't know any of this until he either, confesses, or someone comes forward and says, yeah, he knew him. He knew, he met him before. He'd been at parties at their house, whatever. Someone's gonna, have to come forward, and if they have any knowledge of any kind of prior connection or prior you know that he had with these girls, prior knowing of these girls, or hanging out with them, or met them, or or what. Yeah, because people, that was a party in place. And we know from that September the 1st disturbance call that, now I don't know if Kaylee was there that night or not, but the girl, that little Hannah girl, answers the door, and her boyfriend also comes, and they say, none of the owners, none of the residents of the home are here. So there's this big party going on in the 112 King Road house, and Maddie, Xana, and Kaylee, and apparently Dylan and Bethany, supposedly none of them were there. No one that actually rented the home were there, supposedly. But they end up getting Maddie on the phone. And the police talked to Maddie on the phone and like, hey, we're here at your residence because we've gotten a disturbance call, and I don't know where you're at or what you're doing, but this is what's going on at your house, and if we have to come back out here again, everybody's going to jail. So yeah, hopefully the truth will come out sooner than later for all of that. Yeah, I mean, there is nothing worse than someone committing a murder and then denying that they did it. And when you know damn well that they did it. Now, yes, there are cases where people have truly turned out to be for real innocent. That old saying, everybody in prison claims they're innocent. Well, Max is pitching a fit. He's got to go potty. Oh, I love you, Max. Sweet boy. Yeah, you too. Pam, and tell Griff I said hello, and tell him I said to behave, and give Max a hug for me. And don't say, you know what. So y'all have a good night, Pam. Hi, Rob. How are you? You wonder if who has a pet dog? Brian? This new suspect? Is that what you're asking? Um, yeah, I have no idea. No, nothing like that has been released. I do know that um, the police did go to his apartment that is in Washington, but he is originally from Pennsylvania, and he was arrested in Pennsylvania along with the white Elantra. So I have no idea. If he had any pets or anything, but you have to wonder if did all of this criminal justice and criminology. Yes, me too. Hey, to you. How are you? Yes, I'm just so happy. And what a big surprise for me personally to get for my 1 year anniversary here on YouTube. I wanted Summer Wells to be found, as a surprise for my hard-earned place here on YouTube, and all that I've been through this past year, and and whatnot. But hey, I'll take this too, definitely. Beggars can't be choosers. But I'm waiting on you now, Ronnie Lawson. I'm waiting on you to announce that you have found Summer and that you have arrested somebody for her death or kidnapping her or whatever the situation is. So take some notes from Chief Fry there in Moscow, Idaho, Ronnie Lawson, and call the feds in, call some people in, let them help you, and let's get Summer found and someone arrested for whatever happened to her. Because I cry every day over that little girl. I want that little girl found, whether she's gone or whether she's still alive. I want that child found. Plain and simple. Oh, goodness. But yeah, I'm tickled to death, Rob, that they that this case did not go cold, and that it hasn't drug out longer, than it has. Definitely, because that is an even worse nightmare for the families is, time, the time that drags out, that yes, so many more missing need to be found too. It's they still haven't found Monkey Vaughn's remains, and I haven't had a chance to see what's going on with those two that they arrested in connection with his death. I just know that the girl is the woman that was arrested is under psychiatric care in that case, is all I know. But yes, so many more missing people definitely need to be found. Missing children and whatnot. But yes, I am very glad that this did not drag out any longer than it had to. What I can tell you, though, is that according to CNN, now this has not been released by the Moscow Police Department or the FBI, but sources have told CNN that the way they actually found Brian Christopher Kohberger is through the new genetic genealogy DNA. His DNA was found at the scene of the murders, and they, of course, ran it through CODIS and everything, and it didn't come back to anyone. So they immediately did use the genealogy DNA sources to be able to track down Brian Christopher Kohberger. That is being used more and more and more, and normally it's not used until a case goes cold. So many cold cases have now been solved through genetic genealogy DNA, but they used it immediately in this case. And hey, you know what? That's all right by me. That is all right by me. This new technology is so amazing. And it, is just the greatest new tool in helping solve cases. Colleen Fitzpatrick, who had the DNA Doe Project, she identified a unnamed child from the Titanic. This woman has Amelia Earhart's DNA in her fridge. I kid you not. Colleen Fitzpatrick is like the guru of genealogy testing. And she is such an amazing woman. I mean, people like her are what we call earth angels. Like, they are just angels here on earth doing God's work. And she is so nice and she's so friendly. I've spoken with her several times regarding another case that was my baby case for several years, because we were wanting, there were a lot of people that were wanting this new technology to be used in a cold case here in Arkansas, on a Jane Doe. And instead, the police department, I don't even want to get into that story because it pisses me off. But anyway, she used the lead detective on the case, who had been on the case for 20-something years, used a different person to solve that case. And it took forever to finally solve it. But they did finally solve it. It was the case of El Dorado Jane Doe here in Arkansas. She was murdered in 1991, and she was under an alias name and a fake driver's license and stuff that she had obtained someone else's birth certificate and social security card, and had a fake driver's license in someone else's name. And but Kathy, the lead detective on the case from the El Dorado Police Department, she used a different source. And after about literally 2 years, she was finally named. So DNA from the girl that fought. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, with I mean, I'm sure they probably all at least tried to fight to some extent, I would think, unless the first, stab rendered them, completely not able to move or anything like that. But I'm sure that we know Xana had defensive wounds, so that she fought him. Even her dad stated when he let that slip that she had defensive wounds, he said she put up one hell of a fight. Now, and I'm sure Ethan did too. I don't know. It's just going to all be nice to finally be able to hear and know all the, details, now that they've arrested someone, and as things come out that they can let out. Now, the police are saying that, there's still a lot of things that they can't release, because they, they're still investigating this. And then, we've got a future prosecution, and, you don't want to do anything to jeopardize, the prosecution and conviction of the suspect. So, I don't know how much details will be, released or whatever, before a trial, yeah, yeah, definitely. I know that's the first thing I'm going to do is, is, and I've got fingernails too, is reach up and with everything I've got and try to get something, whether it's hair or skin or clothes or something. I'm unless like I was saying, the first blow renders me, completely helpless, then I'm going to do everything I can to fight and gather, some kind of evidence to, help the police solve my murder. Um, I I said this in one of my in one of the parts. I don't remember which one of this Idaho 4 coverage, that if you remember pre-Lifetime movies, you had the ABC after school specials. And I will never forget watching Nancy McKeon, who played Joe Polnicek on The Facts of Life, starred as Tracy Thurman in the Tracy Thurman story. Now, that is a true story. And her husband was stalking her, and she was trying to get away from him, and there was nothing that they could do, because he was, sitting on a public street. He was standing on a public street or a public sidewalk or whatever. And, this was long before stalking laws and such, came into play. And then he ends up, stabbing her. She lived, but he ends up stabbing her. And ever since I saw that movie, I said, God forbid, if somebody kills me, please don't stab me to death. That's not the way I want to go. Just shoot me, and I hope it's instant, you know. But that is just horribly, oh, I just pray to God that, these people, that Kaylee and Maddie and Ethan and Xana died, pretty instantly, within a few minutes or whatever. God forbid, I hope none of them suffered too horribly, or even, suffered by bleeding out. God, I can't. I can't imagine. But God forbid, all I want to know is why. Why on earth this guy did this? Yes, quickly, 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 quickly. I just want to know why in the hell he did this. And what on earth these 4 young people possibly, did or didn't do, or in his mind that, made him do this. But nowadays it don't take much to set people off. Y'all know that. And these young people are just so quick to, pick up a weapon and take somebody's life and ain't got no damn qualms about it at all. Back in my day, we fought it out. But now people just pick up a weapon and kill you for looking at them wrong. It's or because they're depressed, or someone at school bullied them or whatever. God, if I took the lives of everybody in school that bullied me, I don't know if I would be defined as a mass murderer or a serial killer. But needless to say, it would be a large portion of my class. I mean, yes, lots of anger. Yeah, when morals left, mine went with, exactly. Oh my God. Like rage, anger and rage. Can you imagine the amount of anger and rage that went into this? Because there had to be some amount of anger and rage. Like I said, unless this guy was just some kind of a Richard Ramirez, Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer kind of freak. He had to have been pissed off at them for something, whether it's of course, nothing's worth, there's nothing that you could be pissed off enough about that warrants this kind of a act, but I'm just seriously wondering if this guy is just his mind is, my mama always told me that it's the quiet ones you got to watch. My mother always told me that. Amy, it's the quiet ones you got to watch. So I'm anxious, to hear from more people that, knew this guy personally, and hear more about him and more about his personality and just his day-to-day, everyday life. Did he have a girlfriend? Did he date? Was he gay? Was he, did he have any kind of a love life? What is his family life like? Does he have brothers and sisters? Did he have a best friend? I want to know. Meth, seriously. Oh yeah, believe me, I know. Yeah, well, now that you say that, hi Erica, how are you? Well, I'm glad you're here. We're just we're just talking about the mind of a killer, the mind of what in God's name was going on in Brian Christopher Kohlberger's head, and why on earth did he do this? Erica, that's just kind of what we're talking about. But I want to know everything about this guy, because I've spent the last 35 years in true crime, following true crime cases, covering true crime cases, being an advocate for injustice on some cases here in Arkansas. And I've done a lot of self-education in the mind of killers, and what their life was like growing up. Why did they commit the crimes that they did, and all that. I've studied a lot of serial killers and stuff like that. And when you look back into the past of a lot of these people, who end up committing these, mass murders and serial killers and whatnot, you get a better picture as to, why they ended up doing the things that they did. Some of them had fairly normal lives. Some of them had very abusive lives. And so, most all of them start out with animal abuse, and killing animals and stuff. And, like Richard Ramirez, he had an uncle who was in the Vietnam War. And when he was young, his uncle would tell him all these horrific stories from the Vietnam War, and all the details in all the death that he saw and stuff. And Richard Ramirez just became fascinated with it, but fascinated in the wrong way, so to speak. So and you look at people like Charlie Manson, who was born to a 16-year-old prostitute, and everything that happened, in Charlie's life from the day he was born. And, it's no wonder he turned out the way he did. Same goes for Eileen Wuornos. Eileen Wuornos was physically abused. She was SA'd. She was, got pregnant at a very young age, and was forced to, give up the baby. I mean, just that poor woman went through hell her whole life. And I truly believe that, in all those years that she was a prostitute, I still believe that that first guy she killed, Richard, did do something to her that made her snap after all that time. Because she had been with bad Johns before that. But something about this guy made her snap, and then she just went on a killing spree. But she didn't kill all of the Johns that she was with during that time period that she was on her killing spree. It's quiet here? You mean here in my chat or at your house? Oh, these damn fire. Oh gosh, I know. My dogs hated fireworks. They don't like guns. They don't like fireworks. And oh man, when we lived at home in our house and I lived on the lake, they could be shooting fireworks 2 streets over, but it would echo across the lake and it would come down into that valley as if they were just standing outside my bedroom window shooting fireworks off. It just drove me nuts. And then Dylan really did come set fireworks off on my front porch. Little turd. He did it to get back at me though. Because he was just an ornery little fart, but he was one of my neighborhood kids. God forbid his mom stayed drugged up and asleep all the dadgum time. He didn't have no mama, so I was kind of his substitute mama. He called me one night about 11:30, and he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Nothing, just sitting here watching TV." He said, "I'll be down there in 10 minutes." He said, "We're going snake hunting." And I said, "Dylan, I hate snakes. I'm terrified of snakes." "Nope, I'm not taking no for an answer. I'll be down there in 10 minutes. We're going snake hunting." They were in the process of draining the lake in our neighborhood behind my house. So the water was just way down. So we were able to walk around the lake where there had originally been water, and God forbid there is snakes everywhere. And Dylan's got a pellet gun and his little brother has got an airsoft gun, and we're all shooting we're shooting snakes with a pellet gun and an airsoft gun. and and here I am. It's like, oh God, it's like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm walking down the road with 3 underage minors, because my daughter was with us too. I'm an adult walking down the road with 3 underage minors after curfew with guns, illegally shooting snakes. But that's the kind of cool mom I am. I guess you could say. Oh, yours are snoring. To you. I don't have anybody in here with me right now. Gabby and baby Summer and Rosie are outside, and Ellie, she stays over at my friend Michael's a lot. And she just comes back and forth. She'll go there and stay with him for a while, and then she'll come home, stay with me for a while, and I just let her do what she wants to. But and it's still lonely here, without smoke and everything. Yeah, I hate snakes. Absolutely hate them. The only good snake is a dead snake. But yeah, I was out at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night with 3 minors after curfew shooting snakes illegally. Because it's actually illegal to shoot them. We didn't have necessarily illegal guns, but, it was fun though. I miss them kids. So what do y'all think? What do y'all have to say? I mean, what's your What's your 2 cents about this guy? What do y'all have any theories on it's raining there? Yeah, we've had rain for the last 2 days, and then we're supposed to get some more. I hate this daggum. Oh, I spoke too soon. Rosie's at the window. Come on. Come on. Don't step on my phone. Wow. They think that the back window is the front door, and that's how they come in. They see me here, they see me in the window, so what they do is they climb up the ladder on the back of my RV, and they come through the window. It's the craziest thing. I got a little video of Rosie was coming in and Gabby was going out of the window. I'll have to post it. It's just a little short video, but yeah, one coming in the window and one going out. But now baby Summer, she's still skittish. I mean, she's got to where she'll let me pick her up now and everything, but she comes in the front door, but you have to open the front door and leave it open and then go do something else. Like go, I have to come sit back down. I can't stand there because she won't come in. She'll just sit there on the steps and yell at me. And but she comes in and eats, and she goes back out. She's skittish, but she's getting better. Well, now here's Gabby. Okay, do what now, Erica? I had seen somewhere that he had. Yes, he did. He was following them on Instagram, and there's an Instagram page, and y'all have to go. You got to go look it up. Go on Instagram and just search Bryan Kohberger, BryanKohberger, and you'll see like I found 2 with his picture on them, and one of them looks fake. But the other one, there is a video that was posted on October the 8th. And you got to go on there and watch this short little video. It's extremely disturbing. It's of someone in a mask, beating up somebody with a ball bat. It's pretty graphic. Yeah, I know what you mean. And I don't know how or why that got put out to you. You're talking about Jason, oh hell, I done forgot his name now. Anyway, him and another boy named Dylan White were supposedly, I guess it turns out they were arrested for Grand Theft Auto or something. So I have no idea how they got mixed in and somehow, confused as being the person that got arrested. I have no idea how that happened, but hell, that guy, his uh, Facebook page was pretty disturbing as well. So, uh, you found proper info within minutes and hours before the report. Oh, okay. Well, I was on in someone else's chat when it all started breaking, and when you've got a whole bunch of people reporting stuff all at the same time, and you're trying to grasp it in your mind and figure out, okay, what's going on? Where was this? Who got arrested? What happened? What, da, 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 um, oh, he's a knife maker? Well, boy, he must be a jack of all trades. Are you talking about Brian Koberger is a knife maker? OOTU? Is that what you're saying? ABC6. Okay, I'm gonna go look them up. I'm gonna go look them up. Because oh, Jason is a knife maker. Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's how somebody got it confused, or what. I'm really not sure. Like I said, I was on. Hey, Gab. Like I said, I was on YouTube when it all first started breaking, and of course, you've got 50 million people all trying to report stuff at the same damn time, and you're trying to grasp it all as it's being reported, and then of course I had to go grocery shopping and run errands today, which I got a late start at doing, and um I so I had to I had that on my mind, and all that, and trying to grasp all this, and everything, and it was just crazy. And then I had to go face the craziness, in Hot Springs. I'm talking bumper to bumper traffic. I had to go in Lowe's, and I just assumed somebody beat the shit out of me as to have to go in Lowe's. I hate that store. I can't never find what I need in there. It's a scavenger hunt to find what you're looking for in there. And then the people that work in there don't know shit from Cheyenne of what they're doing. Um, you go up and ask somebody, like I went up to the sky and I said, "Excuse me, but where would I find the eclipse?" And he looked at me and he said, "What is an eclipse?" And I was just like, "Oh shit. Here we go." It's a thing that's like a washer, and it's and I'm having to use all my southern, you know, explanation ways of trying to explain what something is and what it looks like, and which gets even more confusing because I'm one of those, those thingamabobs that look like those jigamaroos that da da da. I mean, I don't hardly ever know the proper name of something, but I just happen to actually know what the proper name for this type of washer was. But this guy working there had absolutely no clue. And then he looks it up on his phone, and he said, "Well, if we have anything like that, it'll be over in hardware." And he said, "Hardware's right over there." And Oh God, they do not teach customer service like they used to. I'll just put it that way. They don't teach customer service the way they taught it when I was working in customer service, and it's frustrating. Like I said, I hate having to go into Lowe's, um, because it's like they never have what I need. And I also went in there to get a water hose, and they didn't have a single water hose in that store, which I know it's not exactly the right season for water hoses, but you would think that a big ass hardware store like that would have at least a few water hoses in stock. Nope, they didn't have a single one. Not one. So, needless to say, I didn't get a water hose today. Now I'm gonna have to go to hunt one down because this isn't the right season for water hoses. But anyway, that's beside the point. Yeah, I know it's so frustrating. And I mean, we have a oh, what is that other hardware store called? Not Home Depot, but it's another hardware store, but it's clear on the other side of Hot Springs. Way, way over on the other side of Hot Springs. And it's just too far out of the way of where I go, to, because all the places that I go are just, pretty much right there in one fairly small area, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Walmart, Lowe's, Goodwill's right there. The Salvation Army thrift stores right there. Hobby Lobby is right there. Everything's all together. Now, I have to go a little bit of a different direction if I want to go to Five Below, or Best Buy, which I hardly ever go in Best Buy, but I do go to Five Below a lot. So let's not talk about employees and customer service. Well, I'm sure you give a lot better customer service than a lot of people do, Pam. I somehow know that, and I can somehow guarantee that. No, it's not Tractor Supply. It's oh damn, what is the name of that place? But it's clear on the other side of Hot Springs. So it's just like way too far out of the way for me to go. Um, but everything else is right there that I go to. Even the mall is, all right there in a centralized area of Hot Springs. Pam, don't do stupid. Oh, she did. Yeah, I did go in Dollar General, and they didn't have any water hoses either. And I actually I don't know if Walmart had any or not because I forgot to go back there. That store is so crazy. There's so many people in there, and they're just running over you that I cannot get out of there fast enough. Literally cannot get out of there fast enough. Oh, I hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Yeah, me either. I do not have patience for stupidity. I don't have a whole lot of patience anymore, period. Um, with people. And it, oh, I used to go shop. Hell, I used to do my shopping at Walmart 2 o'clock in the morning. Um, you know, go in there and there ain't nothing but shelf stalkers in there. But, you know, now they're not open 24 hours anymore. So since the Rona hit, but anyway, well, y'all, it is 11 o'clock my time, and it's been a long day. I've been up since very early this morning, and like I said, I've been through the craziness of shopping and running errands all day, so I am worn out and I'm tired, and I want to, you know, I'm gonna let all this sink in overnight and start it in the morning, and see if there's any kind of new information out, or if I wonder if he's talking. I he's there in I believe it's Monroe County Jail, I want to say, in Pennsylvania. Miss Kmart. Oh, I know. I do too. I loved Kmart. We had a big ass Kmart in Little Rock that I used to go to all the time. It was over by the bar that I worked at. But it shut down. So I'm going to let all this sink in and soak in and see what, possibly breaks or comes out overnight, and get started in the morning and see what's going on. And like I said, I wonder if he's talking or anything or what. Of course, we probably won't know any of that. And now, when he's going to be extradited back to Idaho, I heard that it was supposed to be January the 3rd, but now that could change. Depending on whether or not he tries to fight extradition or what. But allegedly he's supposed to arrive in Idaho on January the 3rd. Now, correct me if I'm wrong on that. I don't have any idea, but that's what I heard early on. So anyway, but you all have a wonderful night. I want to thank everybody for coming in and chit-chatting with me. Yeah, you wondered if he'd give a confession. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Yeah, I definitely want to know. Didn't they say voluntary? Yeah, I mean, the Moscow Police Department have ordered for him to be extradited to Idaho to face these charges from Pennsylvania. But he does have the right to waive extradition. So what, Rosie? He does have the right to waive extradition. So let's just hope and pray that he don't. By golly, if you're man enough to commit 4 horrific murders, then you're man enough to face the consequences, is all I got to say. There is nothing more I can't stand than a fucking coward. You want to do something like that, so horrible, and then deny it? Oh, hell no. Hell no. Well, I will. I don't have a rowboat, but I will at least keep my bathing suit on underneath my clothes and air up my air mattress. Yeah, I've heard it's supposed to storm like hell. God, we go from literally sub-zero temperatures to now I'm not even running my heat. I turn my heater off. So, um, it's just crazy. That's welcome to Arkansas. No, say it louder. Confess to what you did, Brian. And why did you do this? Inquiring minds want to know. What's on my schedule tomorrow? Absolutely nothing. I don't, I don't do New Year's Eve anymore. I haven't done New Year's Eve in years. I used to watch Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve, but he's long gone. So, I mean, I usually stay awake and watch the ball drop, but that's really about it. I don't do anything special, and it's quiet as a church mouse out here. Besides whoever's down the road that's been shooting at night, um, but I don't do anything else. So I'll just be laying here with the kitty cats and dogs and whatever, and we should do a live together tomorrow night. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. As long as we don't have that fucking idiot over there from the King of the Streets on our live, we'll be doing just fine, Pam. Oh my Lord. Woo. He's got a worse twang than I do. It's crazy. Yes, I enjoy the good conversation. Me too. Ow, Gabby, good goodness, my bare leg. All right, well, y'all have a good night. This cat is wanting my attention. She's clawing me. She's trying to make biscuits out of my leg. So, but everybody have a wonderful night. And my motto, we always say to please be the change that you wish to see in this world. As Michael Jackson said, it starts with the man in the mirror. Good night, everybody. Sweet dreams.
From the Rudy Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. If you love all things true crime, then please hit the subscribe button down below and don't forget to hit that notification bell. And please give us a thumbs up because you're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of our hospitality. True crime, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now.